What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm a two-time Olympian, Olympic bronze medalist, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, and of course, motivation and encouraging content. If this is something that you enjoy, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the video. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the recap. I don't always get to recap the fights with so much things going on, but I'm going to try and do a better job at recapping them. So let's just get into it. We got 5 fights to recap from this weekend. Let's get into it. Let's start with Josh Kelly and Troy Williamson. Now, I had Troy Williamson winning this fight. I figured Josh Kelly for the first 5 to 6 rounds, he would be controlling this one. Usually starts off really well, right? And in this fight, he just continued that every single round. Man, he was faster. He was sharper. He was the better counter puncher. He was really doing what he wanted to do in that fight. And Troy Williamson didn't adjust his game plan at all. He was just chasing Kelly around the ring and not using his footwork to cut off the ring and try and get Josh Kelly stationary. He was just following him around the ring, and Josh Kelly was just confident in his approach and his mannerisms, and he got the better hand of Troy Williamson in this fight. This was a very one-sided fight. Even towards the end where Troy Williamson saw some blood on Josh Kelly, it was probably one round that I saw Williamson actually do something different. Apart from that, it just seemed like Josh Kelly was just in complete control of the fight. And this was his best performance to date to me. He made a very good fighter look like he was levels above them. And I credit that to him because of the game plan that he had. He had belief in his skills. He had belief in his repertoire, that he had all of the offensive capabilities to land his shots at will and to be defensively responsible to get out of the way so he doesn't get hurt. So there was a lot of questions going into this one from Josh Kelly, but I thought he answered every single question that the viewers may have, and he did it in convincing fashion. So for me, one-sided fight in this one. I thought Josh Kelly boxed beautifully. He stuck to his game plan, and Troy Williamson, it just wasn't his night. And you could see the frustration on his face. You could see the frustration as the fight was going on, especially going into the second half. So hats off to Josh Kelly. Incredible performance. We'll see what's next for him. Let's move forward. Let's go to Riel Casimero versus Riel Akaho. Now, this was a very interesting fight to me. Going into the first round, right, you could see it was a bit of a slower pace fight. Both men were trying to figure each other out, trying to see how they were going to respond, just trying to see what it was going to be like. The feel-out round, as it is oftenly said. Now, the second round, this is when things started to change a little bit. You could start to see Casimero picking up the pace and the tempo because he came out swinging. Everything that he was doing was with bad intentions. Every shot that he was trying to land was with bad intentions. I thought he came into that second round realizing, look, I don't respect this guy's power, right? They've been saying that this guy's been knocking people out. They've been saying he's this and that, but Casimero didn't respect him. Did he go in a little bit too wild? Yes. Do I think he could have slowed down the pace a little bit and set some things up? Yes. But I got the sense that he didn't respect him anymore, right? And he was trying to not only put on a show, but trying to win in convincing fashion. Now, 2 things that we have to touch on. The knockdown. A lot of people were saying that Akaho knocked down Casimero, but I didn't see the knockdown. What I saw was Casimero, he put too much force into the right hook. The momentum took him down, and he fell on Akaho's leg, and that's what made him fall. I didn't see a shot land cleanly. Maybe you did, but I didn't see a clean shot that said that was to be scored as a knockdown. I think Casimero's momentum took him down, and he fell on his leg. Now, Casimero was putting punishment on Akaho, man. I mean, you could hear some of the shots when they were connecting. It was vicious. It was loud. It was powerful. And I just think Akaho was very surprised and in shock at what was coming his way. He was in shock of the power. He was in shock of the speed and the pressure. He's never fought anyone like Casimero like that. And I just thought he didn't know how to respond to it. And the shot that stopped the fight, the shot did not connect fully. When I saw Akaho reacting like how he was and the show that he was putting on, to me, if I'm putting it bluntly, he quit in that fight. He saw an opportunity to take a way out, and he took that route. So I think he was just more surprised and in shock than anything. And he realized, man, this guy is strong. This guy is fast. This guy is powerful. I don't want to get embarrassed in front of my home crowd, because I don't think that fight would have lasted much longer. I give it maybe 2 or 3 rounds, because he was starting to take some punishment and Casimero was starting to get more comfortable in that fight. But unfortunate how it ended. I thought Akaho took the easy way out. I thought he quit in this fight. And again, maybe something comes out and we see that he was actually hurt. Hopefully he was not hurt, right? And hopefully that he's okay. But to me, I saw a fighter have an opportunity to take the easy way out, and that's what it looked like to me. I thought Casimero was going to win that fight nonetheless. I thought he was starting to find his groove. He was starting to connect. And it's one thing when a boxer does not respect your power, because he's just going to keep coming forward and continue to let his hands go. So Akaho was in trouble regardless of the fact. But to me in this fight, he took the easy way out. Now, let's move past it. Let's go to Daniel Dubois versus Kevin Lerena. Again, another interesting fight, right? Daniel Dubois has all of the offensive skills that you would want a heavyweight to have. He has the size, like he has everything that you would want a heavyweight to have in order to be successful. In this fight, he got caught with a counter left hand and he stumbled. No one saw Kevin Lerena knocking down Daniel Dubois in the first round. Now, what happened next was, to me, what I saw, I'm thinking to myself, I'm seeing it. I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, what's going on with Daniel Dubois? Right? Because then he took 2 knees, willingly took 2 knees, and almost looked like he was about to quit. Looked like he was about to throw in the towel mentally and say, man, I don't want no parts of this. Then you see him get to the corner and you see what he was saying. He was talking about his knee. Man, my knee was hurt. Like my knee, something happened with my knee. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, knee injuries, right? I'm from the sport of track and field, so I know movement in the body. I know what knee pain and what certain pains can do to your body as you're running, as you're walking. So I'm looking at it like, okay, if his knee is bothering him, let's see what he does. But in the second round, he's moving on the knee, right? He's backing up, he's going forward, he's backing up, he's going forward, he's pivoting side to side. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, the knee is good. Because if the knee was really bothering like he said it was, at some point that knee should have collapsed a little bit. It should have folded a little bit and he should have started limping, but he wasn't limping. It looked like he was fine. So I'm thinking to myself, no, it wasn't the physical knee that was the problem. I think his pride and his ego was shot. I think that's what got punched. And that's why he was responding that way, because he was losing a fight to someone who he was supposed to win in his home. And what he was able, I mean, credit to him for what he was able to do, for not mentally taking himself out and doing enough to win the fight and getting the stoppage. But I'm thinking to myself also in a different perspective, right? If I'm Kevin Lerena and I'm in his corner and I know that I knocked him down once before, he's already taken 2 more knees, and I know he's hurt. I know the weak areas are starting to show. I know he's having doubts about this fight. If I'm Kevin Lerena in his corner, I'm telling him, let's pick up the pace right away in the next round. Let's be more aggressive. Let's take it to him. But then the second round came and Kevin Lerena is being very hesitant. He's not letting his hands go. He's just following Dubois along the ring, and Dubois is putting the jab out and keeping him at bay. And I'm like, man, at any moment now, Kevin Lerena, you have to start picking up the tempo, letting his hands go. You already showed that you have him hurt. Now he's weak. Now is the time. And he didn't do that, right? And he just followed Dubois. He wasn't punching, and Dubois landed his shots, and he got the stoppage. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. What is this? Right? So this was very interesting to me. I don't know. This was a very weird and strange fight to me. But the other side of it is, if I'm a heavyweight in that division, I am calling my peoples and I'm saying, look, get me a fight with Daniel Dubois. I want to fight him next, because Daniel Dubois does not look like this heavyweight potential champion that we have been seeing, that we have been hearing about, right? To me, something is off with him, and I'm not sure what it is. He is looking like food right now. And if I'm in the heavyweight division, I'm trying to eat. If I'm Jermaine Franklin, I just lost to Dillian White. Here's an opportunity for me to get a name on my resume and fight a guy who many people consider is a top contender. And I'm Jermaine Franklin's team. I'm trying to set up a fight with Daniel Dubois because right now, Daniel Dubois does not look like this potential champion that we have seen and heard about for years prior to come. So a very interesting fight to me. This Daniel Dubois, if this is the Daniel Dubois that we see moving forward, the one whose chin is very suspect, he is not going to be able to last in this division much longer. I hope I'm wrong, but I did not like what I was seeing in that fight. Let's move over to Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora. This one's very quick, a lopsided fight, right? No one expected Derek Chisora to win this fight. I'm sure the betting odds was crazy, but even then, bettors were hesitant to want to put a little bit of money on Chisora for the just-in-case bet, right? Tyson Fury looked sharp. He looked fast. He looked accurate. He looked powerful. He looked nimble on his feet. He looked like the Tyson Fury that we see and know in previous fights before because he gave Derek Chisora a beating. And I did not like the fact of what we were seeing round to round of Derek Chisora just getting bodied inside the ring. If I'm his corner, I would have stopped that fight because we didn't need to see 10 rounds of this to know who was going to win this fight. I didn't like the fact that Derek Chisora took this type of beating. So one-sided fight, Tyson Fury looked good. Derek Chisora, man, I don't know what's next for you. It's never in us to tell someone when to walk away from the sport, but I just hope he takes good calculation of the decision that he chooses to do next. He's a warrior, right? And we don't want to see our warriors and guys who have given us good entertainment and good fights continue down a path where they just look worse and worse and worse. Now, the interesting part was away from the ring when the fight happened with the interaction between Tyson Fury, Usyk, and Joe Joyce. I like that Joe Joyce went up there to get his name inside the mix, put his face inside of the camera with everybody else. But I hope those fights gets made. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, Tyson Fury, a very comfortable win for him this weekend. Now let's finish it out with Juan, Franciso, Estrada, and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Look, for the first 6 rounds, it was all El Gallo in that fight. He looked faster, he looked sharper, he looked cleaner, he was more fluid, more consistent. It looked like Chocolatito was declining. It looked like Chocolatito was a step behind. It looked like Chocolatito was starting to be a shell of himself. But then in the second round, we see the momentum shift and we saw things change. And we saw the Chocolatito of old that we are accustomed to, starting to cut off the ring, starting to close the gap, go into the body and really breaking down his opponent and really letting his hands go, right? Like we're used to seeing these two guys let their hands go. I don't know what the final punches was. I forgot what came up, but this was probably the fight that they did not throw as much as they did in the first 2 fights. So going into the last round, I had it a draw piece. I thought it was even, right? There were some swing rounds in the fight, but I had it even going into the last round. And apart from the last minute, I thought Chocolatito controlled the majority of that round. Now, many people still thought Chocolatito won the fight. And that's the thing about boxing on the outside looking in is we can have our opinions. We can have it judging differently. We can have it judging the same. But the only judging that really matters is what happens inside the ring, right? And they gave it to El Gallo, which I'm not mad about. But I think if they were to fight again, as much as we would like to see a 4th fight, I don't think the outcome changes. And to me, what I saw in that one, I think Chocolatito is starting to decline a little bit. Not a whole lot, but he's starting to slow down a little bit. So again, it was another good fight. But at the end of the day, I don't think if they fought for a 4th time, the outcome changes. El Gallo, I think we should give more credit to because of how consistent that he has been throughout the fight and consistent how he's been. I had Chocolatito winning this fight based on what Estrada looked like in his previous fight. But I guess I didn't give him enough credit, right? Maybe he knew he had that fight against Cortez in the bag, so he didn't need to put on a great display. But against Chocolatito, he always seems to rise to a different level and different occasion and get up for this fight. So credit to him for winning this fight again, regardless of what we thought. A lot of people think it's 3-0 Roman Gonzalez. Regardless of what we think on the outside, El Gallo won the series 2-1, and he definitely deserves all the credit in this one. But what are your thoughts on all of these fights, right? Let me know your thoughts. What did you see? You can let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways that you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this time, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.